guys, I'm going to teach you to do something here, and I always thought some of the stuff that I do every single day is really simple, but I realize there's lots of people that have never done it before. They're first timers, trying to be like do-it-yourselfers, anything else. You got to start somewhere. So, I've got a good tape measure here. Now I've got a good link, hopefully I'll remember to pop that up right there, to review some different tape measures. Of course my dog's going to go crazy when I start making the video. Let's teach you how to read a tape measure, okay? And rather than trying to put the tape measure directly in front of the camera, which is crazy, dogs, I'm going to go to the chalkboard. Let's go to the chalkboard. Alright guys, see, so you can see, I really do have crazy puppies. They're not going to let me do anything. And this one's Lucy. She's the troublemaker right here. Okay? Come here, Ben. Come here. Come here. Come here. And this is Benny. Okay, I've zoomed in here better so you guys can see this. And yes, you saw me make a mistake as I was drawing it up there. Alright, standard tape measure is going to measure in inches, okay? American tape measure. So, I'm not dealing with the centimeters right here or anything like that. These are all inches. And most tape measures will break it out into 1/16ths of an inch. So we're going to have 16 notches between the 0 and the 1. So this first part is real simple. This is 1/16th, 2/16ths, 3/16ths, 4/16ths, so forth and so on. Now of course, just like in math, we did take fractions and break them down to make them more simple, okay? Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we're doing that spot right there, that's cheap chalk. That's a 4/16ths. Well, you know you got to pick that up. You know you got to simplify that, because you're not going to say, you're not going to pull a measure and someone say, hey, what's that measurement I need to cut? You're not going to say 3 4/16ths. You're not going to say that. That's just silly. So we're going to reduce that to 1/4. Okay? The same thing. That's one of the things about reducing fractions. This is math you're going to use in real life that you learn in school. Most of the stuff you learn in school you're not going to use in real life, unfortunately. Okay? So there's 1/4. Alright, that's 1/2. And that's 3/4. I guess I'll write 1/4 there. And then you got 1. Okay? So that's one of the most important things to do. You see these notches here, you got small and a little bit bigger and small, a little bit, so forth and so on. These are eighths right here. So that's going to be 1/8. 2/8 is also 1/4. So you're going to have 3/8, you're going to have 5/8, and you're going to have 7/8. I really hope you can see that on the camera, okay, because that might bleed out right there on the chalkboard. So, and the 16ths. This is 1/16th there. So 1/16th, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, half, so forth and so on. And of course, you have the other 16ths in there, but I'm not going to take the time to actually write in every single 16th to 1 inch. Alright, so when you draw it out, your tape measure, that's what we use, Most measurements when you're cutting, say, I don't know, something like a deck or something like that, some people will measure the 16th. You're going to at least measure to 1/8 of an inch and try to be that exact on a deck. Now something that's a little bit more specific, so you have a really nice deck, or more importantly, say something like wood flooring, okay? Now if you're going to measure for wood flooring for lengths or this and that, or trim, that's another thing, more of finished carpentry, flooring and trim, you're going to measure out to the 16th and you're going to be dead on that. You're not going to have any gaps further than 1/16th of an inch out. Alright, so it is important to do that. Like I said, decks, a lot of people will just measure out to 1/8 and call that good enough, because decks swell and shrink and this and that. A couple other marks on the tape measure, you'll notice the 16, a lot of times you'll see on the, I'll write it right here, at 16 inches, it'll be inside of a red square. you'll have that 16 and then 32 and then 48. Now what those are is every 16 inches. And it's in the red there because it's a very common mark for carpenters, framers, because when you build a wall or you set flooring joists or ceiling joists, pretty typical American building code is that you're going to lay all those boards or beams 16 inches on center. Now they call it on center is because you don't want to do it to the left of the board or to the right of the board, because then nobody knows, well, which one did you start with, the left or the right? You do it to the center of the board, okay? So it's 16 on center. Boom, 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 boom. And the great thing about that is that, you know, a lot of boards, whether it's plywood, your OSB or your sheetrock, you know, either 4 foot wide or 8 feet wide. So at 8 feet, you've got 96 inches and another red square. Okay, so your things are going to line up. When you put your sheets on there, you're going to have studs that are going to be right there at the end. So when you're going to screw or nail it in together, they're already there. You can just put one board in and the next board and the next board until the end you got to cut off the extra, right? There's one other very interesting mark you'll find on a lot of tape measures. I went past it. There's a little black diamond right there at 19 and 3/16. It's kind of odd. At 19 and 3/16, you generally have a black diamond. And I don't have black chalk, and you wouldn't see it on there anyways. What is that black diamond for? And actually, I didn't know for the longest time until I met an old framer who had been doing this for years and years and years and years. And a lot of the older homes, and I found out recently, in newer homes that are kind of out in the county where the building codes really aren't enforced or even exist, like my house, rather than putting your beams and studs and everything else on 16-inch centers, they'll go to 19 and 3/16. And you guys think, that's a really weird number. But if you follow the diamonds out, you'll find one, not on 4 foot, but on 8 feet, you'll see the diamond again right there on the tape measure. So, what you have is it's still going to be on the 8 foot end, you're still going to put the whole sheet in place and be able to nail or screw it in and then move to the next 8 foot long board. What you're going to do is you're going to cut costs by removing out a beam or a joist, you know, within that 8 feet span. It sounds really simple and petty, but I guess when you're building a whole house, you can save yourself some time and money. That wasn't my house because I went to hang up some trim, some nice chair rail there in my daughter's bedroom, and I found one stud with a stud finder, shot it in, measured 16 inches over, shot another one. I'm like, I didn't hit anything. Where is it? And that's where all that came about. So, I really hope that this helps you guys learn how, first of all, to read the tape measure, you know, just the basic measurements of 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 3/16, so forth and so on, when you stretch it out, and what the extra marks there are for. Guys, please share this video so you can help other people just like you learn about this. Hopefully you liked it, hopefully it helped you. And then while you're at it, check out my channel, subscribe, and my website. Y'all, thanks again for watching.